Welcome back, everyone. Today we'll be taking a look at one of the latest Vintage Collection Deluxe offerings, Sabine Wren from the Ahsoka series. I am definitely very excited to have this one in my collection, and just in time for the last 2 episodes of this amazing series. I have always been a fan of Ahsoka herself, and especially the Rebels characters. I'm happy that we're getting them through the Ghost, and to get this live-action version of Sabine Wren, definitely cool stuff. Really been enjoying the series as well. And, there's some things that we still are going to need. A lot of us might have been a little let down by some of the recent pipelines, but we need some villains for these characters to go up against. We absolutely need Shin. We need Balin. Hopefully they are coming. We didn't see them pipelined. There's been no extra, mention of them, but those are characters that are essential to world building. So, with that being said, let's take a closer look at this amazing figure and get her out of the packaging. Taking a look at the box, we have our standard deluxe style offering. We have the Star Wars and Ahsoka logo on the top with a nice racetrack framing the toy photography image of the character and its accessories. So really fantastic stuff. Kenner logo down below. Love the Lothcott on here. They just look fantastic and a really nice scene, to be honest. And then we have the sunburst showing Sabine with her helmet on, which, not too many of us are fond of, and her blaster pistol. So a nice sunburst there. Not really sure why that one's, shown. It doesn't really show all the accessories, but regardless, it looks pretty cool. And then on the side, we have her with her saber, and a really nice image actually in the background with that, bright fluorescent coloring, lighting. Just looks really dynamic in my opinion. The bottom has a bunch of legal stuff that no one cares about. And then on the side, we have her with her little aerosol type of gun for marking up and just showing that Rebels have been around. And then on the back, the same image as the front, except we have another smaller one here showing all the contents inside the packaging. You get Sabine herself, her side bag, 2 blaster pistols, the aerosol gun, lightsaber, and an unlit hilt, as well as her Lothcat and this helmet, which is gonna be a little too big, unfortunately. And then we also have the Vintage Collection logo in the bottom right corner. So all in all, another Vintage Collection Deluxe style figure to add to the collection. And if you just so happen to be new to collecting, these deluxe packages usually come like this. A cardboard insert with the figure attached and some tissue paper that hold most of the accessories. And taking a look at Sabine out of the packaging, I have got to say that this figure is simply stunning. They have done a remarkable job, and the likeness is absolutely spot on. Really, really well done. Look at those paint applications, very clean. Her hair looks fantastic. It's got, a nice vibrant purple color that you see in the show, but it's also got a little bit of toned down black wash or something that really brings out a lot of those details in her hair. So really fantastic. Then one of my favorite paint deco here, if I can get this to focus, is the Purgle on her shoulder armor. So cool, and such a small paint deco that they pulled off very well. Nice and clean. Then you got her Rebel emblem over here, and just all the different paint lines and stuff like that going all over her Mandalorian armor. Just looks wonderful. And yeah, I just can't get over the likeness. Fantastic stuff. You can see I have her unlit saber attached to her belt. You got the 2 blasters, which also have some paint deco on them. Got a lot more paint deco here on her gauntlets. Very fine line detail. So this figure, has a lot of paint deco, and it's all done very nicely. And Hasbro says that paint deco does cost a lot, and I got to tell you, if you've ever tried to paint a custom figure, it's an absolute pain to get it very clean and precise. So the machinery that they use is pretty impressive. So I know, paying extra money for deluxe figure and paint, it seems silly, but for this kind of quality, I can't complain too much. There is something that is a little bit more bothersome, and I think many of us know about it. It is the helmet, because unfortunately it is awful. That is way too big. It just looks like a giant bucket on her head. I mean, if you look at that thing, it's bigger than her chestplate armor. So such an unfortunate fumble by Hasbro. I've never been a big fan of, these plastic slip-on helmets. I prefer swappable heads, 100%, because you get more detail in that kind of plastic molding, and they just never have issues. I know that they try to compensate because she has hair, and they want this to fit properly, but then this is not accurate. This is not something she should be wearing. So very, very disappointing. So if you take a look at the Casca Reeves helmet and place that on Sabine instead, worlds apart. A much better result in my opinion. Just take a look at the size comparison here. You can almost probably fit this over that helmet, which is a little bit ridiculous. Once again, very unfortunate. The other thing I like about these swappable heads versus the plastic slip-on ones is I think because it's on a barbell joint, it gives a better range of motion for the figure. You know, she can actually tilt up her head pretty nicely and just like look up at the sky or look down, which, you know, when you have these Mandalorian helmets on, you don't have facial expressions. So you really got to work on the way, you know, you kind of like tilt your head and stuff like that to like convey expressions. And that's very helpful actually for photography. And I don't think you get as much range of motion when you get those slip-on helmets. So yeah, I really want them to go forward with the swappable heads from now on for all figures that have helmets, personally. That's just my preference, and I think it leaves a lot less room for error. So hopefully we'll see an improvement with that in the future. So going back to the figure and its accessories, here you can see the little aerosol gun, and it's got a lot of detail on it for such a small accessory. So very cool that they included that. You know, she hasn't really used it in live action yet, but it's something that was, you know, definitely seen with her and Rebels. So I like getting that little accessory, just part of her character. Here's the side bag. It's got some nice detailing on it. It's definitely a very saturated brown, like plasticky looking color. I might weather that up myself just to give it a little bit more of a leather look, but as you can see, it slips on pretty easily. So put that down over there. And then taking a look at her saber, which is pretty much Ezra's saber with a little bit of enhancements that she did for the show and just as she's like acquired it and been holding on to it for him. So cool accessory. Mine's got a little bit of a bend to it, which is kind of annoying, but I can let that pass. I really like that she's got the, you know, the shoulder armor that we saw with like Bo-Katan, that style of just a soft plastic that really won't limit any of her range of motion in the arms. So that's nice stuff to see. Again, we have the soft plastic holsters similar to Bo-Katan with these blaster pistols, which have paint deco on them. Very nicely done. Fantastic. They slide in and stay pretty secure as well, which is always nice when you have accessories and firearms for your characters. And here you can see that this moves, but it stays clipped in as well. We can move her arms down real quick. Let's take a closer look at her chest armor. Like I said, very nice line work. Paint deco's done well. Great detailing on her belt buckle and stuff. She's got, of course, all the articulation you're going to need. The new style barbell hips, swivel at the thigh, ball jointed knees, and of course rocker ankles. So Sabine will definitely have no problem combating like the Mandalorian Jedi Padawan that she is. So very, very happy to have this one. Such an awesome figure, and I look forward to taking many photos with this one. And lastly, we have her Loft Cat, which is just a neat little accessory to get in the vintage collection. I love that it has a little bit of articulation in the head to get him some of those little gestures that you see in the show. These guys have been very prominent in Rebels. We saw one of them in The Mandalorian, and it's great to see them in the Ahsoka series. That little puppet is amazing. So really nice to see this one. It's got some nice paint deco, as you can see. Very clean lines. A little bit of a fade here on the top of his ear. And yeah, I just like him. He's a neat little accessory to get. Doesn't have any articulations really in the legs, but that's fine. This is mostly a little like statue and just like, you know, he can tilt his head and gesture, which is very nice stuff. So looking forward to this accessory added to my collection. I really look forward to the one that comes with Ezra too from the Ghost. So definitely happy to get more of these and just add them around my town and displays. I think many collectors would agree it's amazing to have a new media figure in hand while a show is currently on. Sabine Wren is a personal favorite of mine, and this all new from the ground up figure does not disappoint when it comes to articulation and sculpting. But unfortunately, this remarkable figure is soured with this ridiculously oversized helmet that has been included. Here you can see this baseball-sized accessory looks less than great when compared to the previous female Mandalorian helmets. This is certainly unfortunate, but luckily most of Sabine's screen time has her with the helmet off. Circling back to Sabine's articulation, she comes fully loaded with all the modern advancements we have seen in the vintage collection lately. New style barbell hips, rocker ankles, and a plethora of ball joints will allow Sabine to take down any and all adversaries. The only thing I will say is that she does not have a hinge at the wrist, which is very unfortunate and would allow for greater posing with the saber. But regardless, Sabine is an excellent start to our Ahsoka series figure offerings. I hope you've enjoyed this video and taking a look at one of the latest Vintage Collection Deluxe figure offerings, Sabine Wren from the Ahsoka series. Definitely a very welcome addition to my collection, but feel free to let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. And don't forget to drop a like on this video and subscribe if you're new to the channel. It really helps and is always greatly appreciated. Thanks everyone, and may the Force be with you.